One of the most common things people are using AI for is to address mental health concerns. This episode isn't about a question of is that good or bad, or should we or shouldn't we use AI for mental health, but it's a question of how interaction with AI impacts the end result of the process of using it for mental health concern. Now, we look back at episode 1 real quick. It was about that sometimes using AI, we feel very good after it, but that feeling good is not the best measurement for whether or not we were actually helped. Now, part of the reason for this comes into play of how we as humans integrate meaning. That we will come up with a question, and when we hear the answer to it, we think, wow, that makes everything make sense. That's perfect. That is exactly the question I was looking for. Now I get it. And from that, we get this clarity. We get a feeling of stability. Our anxiety reduces. We feel very grounded. We go from this anxiety feeling of, what do I do, to a calm feeling of, I got this. Now, with AI, arriving at that same spot is not the problem. The speed is. So when the feeling of stability or security or grounding or closure arrives, we tend to just take a breath and move forward. We accept that solution because it makes sense. It grounds us, it calms us, and we move into action. Our desire is to move on, and so we just stop questioning. Now, if we took time and effort to lead to finding that solution, then not only is it a good solution, but it's integrated into us. And because we process through finding the solution, there's still the option to later on reprocess it. But if that solution is provided easily and with authority, we will take it and we will act on it without integrating it or even questioning it down the road. For example, if you were to drop a rock from 100 feet high into sand, that rock's just going to hit and embed itself. It came fast and it stuck, and we might not move it later on. But if you drop a rock from 100 feet through water into sand, it goes slowly, and when it hits, you can then move it around if you needed to. Now, this can happen outside of AI, that you can get feedback or a statement about yourself from your partner. You can get it from a parent, or you can hear something a public figure says. Your boss says something declarative about you, and you can just take them at their word and not even question it. The difference is that with AI, the interaction is fluent, that often it will adapt to your manner of speaking, and it's incredibly fast. And so the ideas and answers may be accepted because not only are they clear and concise, but they're coming in your own words, and they're coming so fast that you just assume you were the one that came up with it. But it arrived so fast that you didn't get a chance to integrate it. And it arrived so fast that it just stuck, and it's going to be hard to move around and question later on. Now, this can really be impactful if the thing you're discussing with AI changes from just a concept to a belief about yourself. But again, in real life, it can happen as well. For example, take the Enneagram. I know I didn't pronounce that right, but deal with it. You want to take that. So you say, hey, I want to learn more about myself. So you decide the problem is I need to know more about my personality. So now I'm going to decide to take that test. I'm going to go find that test. I'm going to take it. I'm going to read the results, and then I'm going to apply it. But with that, often we go through that process and then we hear the results and we think, oh, that's it. And boom, we move forward. And we don't pause to think, maybe there's another personality test that would be better. Maybe I could get information from some other source. Let me compare results. We don't integrate it. We don't process it. Now, with AI, You just state, hey, I'm uncertain about my personality. And AI says, oh, well, you need to take a personality test. This is one you need to take. I'm going to go find it for you. Here, go ahead and take it real quick, and I'll score it and tell you what you should do about it. It does everything but answer the questions for you. And so now that same test that even when you were involved in the process could lead you to take the answers and stick with it, now you are not even involved in the process. So now, I'm not saying you can't trust AI. I'm not saying the information's bad. I'm not saying you should doubt everything AI says. It's because these same issues can arise with humans. The question is not doubting, the question is speed. That AI is so fast and so fluent and so able to adapt to you that speed can lead to you accepting the truths without questioning them. Now, the information could be exactly right. That's not the question of is it right or wrong. The question is who made the final decision that it was right or wrong. Who was the person who got to make the final decision of this is the truth we are going to follow? Were you allowed, or did you get the opportunity to effectively question throughout the process? And is there still freedom to question down the road? The faster an answer that creates certainty arrives and reduces distress, the more chance there is that it was created externally and not fully authored personally. And it may be harder to question later on. Now, I'm not being alarmist about AI. It's when you get information from anywhere that makes you feel calmer, clearer, more empowered, and the experience feels complete, it isn't natural to then question it further. So you just want to know that the speed at which that clarity arrives directly impacts how much it's actually authored and controlled by you.